You know that feeling, right? You wake up, reach for your phone, and boom, there it is again. That absolute sinking feeling of dread in your stomach because yet another AI model just launched, claiming it's gonna literally change everything forever. You're scrolling, and you see people building all these crazy new AI agents, memorizing insanely complex prompts, and generating code, and suddenly, you feel like you're running a marathon that doesn't actually have a finish line. The pressure to learn every single new tool out there, it is suffocating. You start wondering if the skills you're using today are even going to matter this time next year. Well, take a breath, because in today's Explainer, we're going to look at why you actually can't learn everything, and more importantly, why you totally don't need to. Instead, we're diving into how to build the 5 true skills of the future.
Because honestly, this brings us to the only question that genuinely matters right now. Look, the hard technical knowledge you're frantically trying to gather today, it's fragile. By 2027, these interfaces are going to be infinitely easier to use, the tools will have morphed completely, and a lot of what you're obsessing over right now will just be fully automated behind the scenes. You are competing in a game where the rules get rewritten every single day. So we've got to pivot our mindset. Ask yourself, when everyone on Earth has access to the exact same superintelligence, what actually makes you stand out?
To answer that, we need to shift you from being this frantic tool collector to becoming a master of 5 timeless, bulletproof skills. So, we're going to walk through the illusion of the AI race. Then we'll break down problem solving, communication, system design, adaptability, and finally how you can actually transform all of that into undeniable real-world value. All right, let's kick things off by dismantling this whole AI race illusion. We have to stop chasing the tools. The big takeaway here is that the future belongs to the people who create value, not the ones who just memorize fragile interfaces. We've got to stop chasing the machine. Just look at the noise you're bombarded with every day. New models, new prompts, new agents, new tutorials, new interfaces. I mean, it literally never ends. If you try to keep up with all of this, you're just going to burn out. AI is incredibly powerful, absolutely, but at the end of the day, it is simply a multiplier. You have to stop fixating on the multiplier and focus on becoming the primary number in the equation. You need to become the thinker who uses technology as a sharp tool rather than letting the technology dictate your life. Which leads us to our first real meta skill, identifying problems and making executive decisions. This is where we need to slow down and figure out how to actually multiply our human capabilities in a world obsessed with automation. Strategic problem identification isn't just about spotting an issue. It's this rare ability to see friction in places where everyone else just blindly accepts the status quo. Right now, most people look at a shiny new AI tool and they ask, wow, what can this do? Honestly, that's the wrong question. The smartest question you can ask is, what specific problem can I solve with this? Because look, anyone can click a button and generate a generic image or spit out an average email, but massive, undeniable value, that happens when you find and fix hidden workflow inefficiencies. If you spot a customer support bottleneck that's bleeding a company thousands of dollars and you use AI to fix it, you're not just a user anymore. You are a solution provider who sees exactly what everyone else is ignoring. And that ties right into our next meta skill, executive judgment. Look, AI can spit out 10 brilliant business strategies for you in about 3 seconds, but it cannot tell you which one of those strategies is actually the right move for your specific, messy, real-world situation. Generating options, that's become incredibly cheap, but the human ability to judge the consequences of those options, that is becoming priceless. You are the one who has to understand the context, weigh the risks, feel out the subtle nuances of timing, and manage the actual people involved. Think about it like this. You've got employee A, right? They know 20 different AI tools, and they can sit there prompting all day long. Now look at employee B. They use their executive judgment to cut through all that noise and pick the single best strategy. Employee B is the one who becomes completely indispensable. Why? Because while AI creates the possibilities, a human being still has to decide which of those digital possibilities actually deserves to exist in the real world, and that person needs to be you. Okay, up next, communication and building genuine human trust. Since AI makes producing content basically effortless now, we have to wake up to the fact that raw information is no longer a scarce resource. Literally anyone can generate a post, a video, or an article in seconds. So what actually becomes scarce? Attention, connection, trust. Empathetic communication is the art of storytelling in a world that is drowning in automated noise. You have to remember, people do not remember raw data. They just don't. They remember how you made them feel. Human psychology is your irreplaceable asset here. The ability to take a complex idea, explain it simply, persuade someone, and truly understand what they desire, technology can amplify those things, sure, but it is incredibly difficult for a machine to fake them. It really boils down to this. The machine produces the words, but you absolutely must understand the person reading them. Sure, you can get an AI to draft up a brilliant marketing script, but that true bridge of trust and persuasion, that can only be built by someone who genuinely grasps human nuance. Your ultimate value lies entirely in the trust you build with your audience. Which brings us to our fourth critical skill, moving away from just using tools to actually designing systems. This is a massive leap in how you operate on a daily basis. It's the transition from doing one-off isolated tasks to engineering a continuous engine of value. We call this systemic architecture. See, the average person interacts with AI one tiny task at a time. They open a chatbot, ask a question, copy the answer, close the tab, done. But go back to that customer support example. Instead of manually answering 100 emails by copying and pasting from AI 100 times, systemic architecture means you build a workflow. You set up a system where AI categorizes the incoming messages automatically, another system drafts the responses, and it routes the whole workflow without you constantly having to hold its hand. It's the fundamental difference between being a user and an architect. The user asks one question at a time. The architect, they build workflows that generate continuous outcomes. Let me tell you, this one distinction is going to completely define careers over the next few years. You want to be the person designing the engine that runs the car, not just the person who knows how to turn the key once. Moving right along to skill number 5, radical adaptability and continuous learning. We have to face a pretty harsh reality here. Whatever software interface you are spending hours and hours mastering today, it might literally vanish in 3 years. That's why radical adaptability is so critical. It's the meta skill of learning how to learn. You don't need to be some AI wizard who understands how neural network code is written. You just need to become a professional learner. The people who are going to survive and thrive are the ones who can open a brand new tool, mess around with it, fail fast, and instantly transfer their past knowledge onto this new technology. They thrive in chaos because they are constantly reinventing themselves. Knowing exactly how to react when the ground shifts beneath your feet, that is your ultimate safety net. And finally, we have to talk about how to transform all of this knowledge into actual, real-world value. Because listen, it is time to stop hoarding tools and start building something real. A product, an audience, a tangible solution. Like this quote says, knowledge without application is just potential. And silent potential, it just wastes away. You could sit there and binge watch 500 tutorials on automation, but if you never apply it to a real problem, it means absolutely nothing. Action is literally the only thing that moves the needle in the real world. So go out there and automate a broken process at your job. Help another human being. Launch that business. Just do something with it. Because remember that multiplier analogy we talked about earlier? AI is just a multiplier. If you bring 0 action, 0 judgment, and 0 core skills to the table, well, we all know the math. Any number multiplied by 0 is still 0. The machine is just going to multiply your nothingness. We have to make sure we are bringing our own distinct human value to the equation. So I want to leave you with this final powerful thought. Don't try to predict the future. Build the skills that will survive it. The future is coming at us way faster than any of us can probably comprehend. It's time to stop fearing the AI shift and stop obsessing over which specific app is going to win out. Start building those timeless meta skills right now. Problem solving, executive judgment, empathetic communication, systemic architecture, and radical adaptability. That is how you make yourself totally invaluable, no matter what crazy update drops next. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this gives you the clarity you need to stop chasing and start building.